This is the Oregon project and it's the new 6th edition. You may be more familiar with the book that's got the beige cover. So I just wanted to highlight some of the differences between it and this new 6th edition. So you still have the large folder, which you can see here, and it's fairly thick, as you can also see, and you have the book as well. It's still divided into the same skill sets as the 5th edition, but the recording sheets at the beginning are slightly different. So you will have noticed that I also posted a recording sheet from the 5th edition that I had completed. So now what they've done is put each skill level together, and unfortunately it's no longer across one single page. I think this is a bit of a shame. I like to see everything all presented on one double page. So here we've got cognitive. Now you could still colour these in according to age, just picking a different colour for each age and doing the same throughout. So for example, you can see that between 0 and 1 we have 20 cognitive tasks to complete. Between 1 and 2 they've 17, 21 and so on. Language as well. Then on this page, compensatory, vision, self-help and social. Fine motor and gross motor. Here on this page we've got a data summary, so you could very easily put the date and then say exactly how many have been completed. So we've got a couple of those, so for different dates, and you could also photocopy this page if you were going to do it more than 3 times, which I would have thought that you might. And then here you can have a comparison graph as well. But as I say, you can't have the years on that, so it does make it much more challenging. Here on this page, this is just a quick way of calculating the percentages. People get confused, they don't realise that this is here. So first of all, what you do is in the section that you're working, you find out how many skills there are within that section, and then so you use one finger from your left hand for that side. Just move this up, there we go, makes it easier. How many the child has completed. So let's imagine they had completed 12 out of 20. Then you put this finger up this way, this finger across this way, and where they meet, well, 60. So that's 60% of the skills that they would have achieved. So that's how you do that part. That was also in the beige book, but people often didn't realise what it was and how to use it. On this page here, and I think this is actually quite helpful, they've got materials for the assessment, so all the things that you're going to need for the 0 to 2 age for each of the areas, or 4 of the areas. So cognitive sorts of things that you're going to need, fine motor, vision down here, and compensatory over here. The next page, it's similar, but it's for the 2 to 4 age range, all the things that you're going to need. And then 4 to 6, the things that you will need as well. So let's just look at cognitive, for example. And so here we've got very, very similarly as the previous book, but now what they've done helpfully, I think, is to actually cross-reference it. So for number 1 in cognitive, alerts to tactile, auditory, visual and movement stimulation, but it's also linked to compensatory number 2. Let's look at this one, number 3, brings hand to mouth, engages in oral exploration of objects. So it's compensatory 4 and fine motor 1. So if we just flip over to fine motor 1, I think that's probably towards the end. Here we go, fine motor 1 brings hands to mouth, and you can see it's cognitive 3 and compensatory 4 that it's also cross-referenced to. So that is really very good, and I like how they have done that. Again, you've got your 3 columns where you can put the date in where you have looked at that to see that, oh yes, they can do that, and then you can go back a few more times to see if that skill is really there, or and it has been embedded, in which case you then tick or date has skill. One of the other things that I liked, I think this is another change as well, is in the self-help section as well. So they've got here in the 5 to 6 age range, they've actually broken the skills down to eating, dressing, toilet hygiene, and then on this page, independence and safety. So I like that a lot. Now this little mark that you may see on some of them, at 102, checks own privacy when toileting in familiar public restrooms. So obviously they're checking that the door is closed, but that little mark next to 102 indicates that that is a skill that may be developed later for children who are blind. So, and that was always in the previous edition as well, but it's marked in a slightly different way this time. So it's still very similar, but they've got some really nice things that they've added. For example, here in compensatory, beginning orientation and mobility, and also Braille readiness. So they're actually categorising what some of the skills are doing as well. And here in compensatory 5 to 6, sensory training and concept development, and more Braille readiness as well. So I really like that. I think that's a good addition. The manual will give you ideas if the child is stuck at developing any of those skills, and that is also helpful. So that is a very quick look at the Oregon Project 6th edition.